I got the first message last Monday. Just a casual ding from an unknown number. You forgot me, didn't you? Roxanne. I didn't know a Roxanne. No old flame, no ex, not even a friend by that name. Probably spam, I figured. Deleted it and moved on. The next day, I got another one. You looked cute in that hoodie. Blue always was my favorite on you. That gave me pause. I'd worn a blue hoodie that morning. Was this some AI-generated scam? A lucky guess? I replied, "Who is this?" No answer. I blocked the number, but the messages didn't stop. You always blink twice when you lie. Did you know that? I saw you at the gas station. You looked sad. You don't remember, but we were in love. I stopped sleeping well. I was constantly looking over my shoulder, at red lights, in elevators, at the front door. I asked my friends. Nobody knew a Roxanne. One of them joked, "Maybe she's your stalker ex from a past life." Not funny. I came home Wednesday night and found a package on my bed. No postage, no name. Inside, a framed Polaroid of me sleeping, in my own bed, taken from inside my room. Taped to the back was a note written in looping cursive. You looked so peaceful. Still mine. R. I called the police. They did a sweep. Nothing. They checked the photo for prints. Nothing. I changed the locks, bought cameras, installed a deadbolt, and slept with a knife under my pillow. Didn't matter. Saturday night, my power went out. And then I heard her voice. Software from the hallway. "You're not running anymore. That's good. I hate when you run." I locked my bedroom door and backed away. My phone lit up in my pocket. "Let me in, baby. You owe me at least a conversation." There was a tap, tap, tap on the door. Not pounding, just patient. I screamed. Called 911. When the cops arrived 5 minutes later, she was gone. No sign of forced entry. No prints. No Roxanne. I showed them the texts. They weren't there. Gone. Every last one. They suggested I talk to someone. Maybe get help. Help? How do you get help for something that leaves behind Polaroids and perfume on your pillow? Today's Monday again. Exactly 1 week since the first message. I moved in with my sister. She doesn't believe me either, but at least I'm not alone. This morning she went to the store. I made coffee. My phone buzzed. One new message. "You can hide in someone else's house, but it's still your heart, and I'm in there." Attached was another photo. Me. Taken seconds ago. Standing in the kitchen, holding a cup of coffee. I dropped the mug. It shattered. I ran to every window. Nothing. No one. I stared at the phone in my shaking hand, afraid to look at it again. Another buzz. "Let's talk. This time I'll make sure you remember me." I don't know who she is. I don't know what I did. Maybe she's a ghost. Maybe she's just broken. Or maybe I did know her once. Maybe I did something terrible. Maybe forgetting her was the worst mistake I could have made. I don't know what she wants. But tonight, the power just went out again. There's movement in the hallway. The floorboards creak, and I hear her whisper right outside the door. "I missed you." Someone keeps texting me, "Hide and seek?" I wish I hadn't ignored it. I received the first message 3 days ago. I was on my break at work, and I got a text notification. It was odd. It was from an unknown number. Normally, I ignored those sorts of messages. Spammers and the like usually showed up with those types of auto texts. But this one was different. It was so strange because no number showed up at all. Just the message, "Hide and seek." I thought someone might have the wrong number for a friend they were trying to get in touch with to play a game, apparently. So I responded, "Think you have the wrong number. Not sure who you are trying to reach, but they are not here." I went about the rest of my workday and was just wrapping things up. When I pulled my phone from my bag, I saw I had another text waiting for me. Same number or lack of number. It was just another blank line where a number should display, and the message, hide and seek. I was confused and slightly annoyed, so I responded again. Like I said before, I think you have the wrong number. Who is this? Who are you trying to get a hold of to play hide and seek? I waited, staring at the screen for a minute, and I was about to put it away when I saw a response. You? Hide and seek? My patience had reached its limit, and I figured if they would not answer then I would just block the non-existent number and hope it would work. Despite the lack of a visible number, the option on the message thread still presented itself, so I was relieved when the weird conversation vanished. I got in my car and started to drive home. I got another notification as I got on the road and used my car's text-to-speech to read it to me. It was Mike, my roommate. He was asking me to pick up more beer from the store, since he had apparently finished off what we had left. I groaned at the message, and the fact that I was always the one to buy it for us. It was getting old, but I needed a drink after the night I had, so I sent him a message back saying, I can this time, but if you are going to keep drinking everything we have, then you better start paying for it. I stopped by a nearby gas station close to our apartment and grabbed a case of Miller and continued home. As soon as I got back in the car, I received another text. I was getting annoyed already since I figured it was Mike complaining about being out of something else. But instead, as the text-to-speech read out the message, I knew it was something else. Seek? Drink? It made sense now, and I immediately called Mike. He answered after several rings and sounded stoned. Hey man, what's up? Did you grab the beer? Yeah, I did. Are you messing with me? How are you sending those messages? When I call you, I can see your number, but not when you sent that weird text. What kind of app are you using? Also, what is the point? I am not home yet. I can't play hide and seek. Never mind that I'm not 5 years old. The seek drink thing was a bit of a giveaway for whatever weird game you are playing. There was a brief pause, and he responded, Not sure what you mean, man. I didn't send anything like that. Weird. Who wants to play hide and seek? Anyway, get home, man. My buzz is fading. He hung up on me, and I was even more confused. If he had not sent the message, who did? I drove home, feeling a little on edge. When I got back inside, Mike greeted me at the door. Of course, by greeted, I mean he took the case of beer and walked to the fridge, removed two, and sat back down on the couch. Nice to see you too, I mumbled under my breath. I wanted to ask again about the weird message, but I just shrugged and grabbed a drink for myself and lumbered to my room. I was tired, so I decided to call it an early night. When I stepped into my room, my phone buzzed, and I saw another text from no number. Almost time, hide, or seek? I was getting creeped out at that point. I did not know how the messages kept getting through after blocking it. I decided to respond again. Stop messaging me. I do not know who this is, and I do not want to play. Leave me alone. I hit send and tried blocking it again. This time I turned my phone off for good measure. I tried to settle down and just go to sleep. I managed to nod off for a bit, but after a while I heard a knock at my door. I jolted up and heard the slurring voice of Mike. Hey man, I don't know what the hell, but I think someone is trying to get a hold of you. I just got a trippy message, and it sounded like what you were talking about earlier. Check it out. I rushed to the door and saw Mike looking at his phone in a confused stupor. I grabbed it from him and looked at the message. Last chance, hide, Or seek? My heart sank, and I felt a wave of panic rising in my chest. I asked Mike, "When did you get this?" He shrugged his shoulders. "A while ago, man. I don't remember exactly. I was not looking at my phone. What's going on?" I stepped back into my room and turned my own phone back on. Sure, enough I had a missed message. Okay. You hide. I stared at the words in mounting fear. I had no idea what to do, but I felt suddenly exposed. I considered calling the police, but I did not know what I would tell them. Nothing had happened, only a creepy text thread. Yet something felt wrong, like something bad was about to happen. I looked over at Mike, and he looked confused and a bit paranoid as well. Before I could try and explain things, the lights went out. At first, I thought it might be a power outage. Then I heard the slow, creaking sound of the front door opening, despite being sure I had locked it when I got home. Terror gripped me, and I knew something was very wrong. I crouched down in the dark and whispered to Mike the only thing I could think to say: hide. I crawled on my floor and under my bed. I was about to call 911 when my phone suddenly died as well. It was on one moment and then just lost power, despite having over half a charge left. I put the useless device in my pocket and tried to see if there was anything I could use as a light source. I froze and thought better about moving when I heard a strange shuffling sound. Then heavy footsteps, much heavier than Mike's. I noticed the temperature in the room had dropped suddenly, and it felt like it was freezing. As the footsteps resounded and moved closer, I smelled a fetid tinge in the air as well, like something rotten. I crawled as far back and huddled up as small as I could make myself under the bed and held my breath. I heard my closet door gently shutting and thought it might be Mike hiding in there. Then the heavy footsteps picked up the pace. I suddenly realized if I could hear the door closing, whatever the hell was in here with us could hear it too. I considered calling out to Mike to move, but fear froze my voice. The heavy footsteps were in the room now. Despite my efforts to try and see what stalked us, I could not make anything out. I sat there, silent and immobile, holding my breath and waiting. After several long moments, I thought we might be safe. Then I heard the door to the closet break and shatter. Then Mike screamed, a haunting and nightmare-inducing shriek. Something had found him. The cry of terror was suddenly silenced. I did not hear anything violent, just the scream and then utter silence. I had no idea what the hell had just happened. For a long while I sat there paralyzed with fear, until finally the light came back on. When I summoned the courage to creep out from under the bed and see what had happened, I was shocked when laying on the ground was the shattered remains of my closet door. Despite the ruin of the door, there were no traces of anyone or anything else. Mike had vanished. I slowly called out, louder and more emboldened as I moved into the hall where the light was on again. No one responded. No one else was there. I stumbled through the apartment searching for my roommate, but he was gone. Worse still, I had no idea just where the hell he had gone. No trace of Mike has shown up in the last couple days since it happened. I don't know if anything will. I think he can finally be declared missing, but I don't know if it will do any good. It was impossible, but whatever had broken into our place had found him, and now he was missing. He had lost hide and seek, and that thing, whatever it was, took him away. The entire nightmare is unbelievable. Yet, even now, as I write about my friend's impossible disappearance, I am shocked when I receive another text. Hide and seek? I don't know what to do. I don't know what this is. Maybe I should respond again, a different way this time. Maybe it might help, might keep me safe from whatever or whoever is doing this. Perhaps I can find out. My reply is one word. Seek. Hot singles near you. I was never the type to pay attention to neon-colored ads blinking on my screen at 2 in the morning. I'd usually ignore them, maybe laugh at their ridiculous claims. So when I first saw one that said, "Hot single ladies in your area," I scoffed and scrolled on. But after a few minutes of mindless browsing, I noticed the ad changed. This time, the text read, "Hot singles, only 2 kilometers away." I paused. Ads often track your location, but it felt weird to see the exact distance spelled out. I shrugged it off. Just a marketing ploy. Nothing new. I got caught up reading a thread for a while, then refreshed. That's when I saw it again, but the distance had shrunk. Hot single, near you, 500 meters. There was a face on the banner. A brunette with unsettlingly pale eyes, the iris so washed out it was nearly white. She stared through the screen with a knowing smile. Something about her expression felt too personal, like she knew I was watching. A quick shiver ran through me, but I chalked it up to late-night nerves. I forced my attention elsewhere, until another refresh brought up a third ad. This time, it covered the top of the page, big and bold. "I'm closer than you think, 100 meters away." My stomach twisted. I peered out my window, scanning the empty sidewalk lit by a single flickering street lamp. Nobody was there. I tried to reason it out. Ads can be hyper-targeted, sure, but 100 meters? That was practically my doorstep. I told myself to ignore it, but it got worse. Another banner loaded with the same woman, only now her features were off. Her face looked elongated. Her grin stretched a little too wide, almost like a predatory snarl. The text underneath read, "We see you. 50 meters." I felt a chill roll through me. We? There were multiple figures in the background now. Other women with the same pale eyes, all leaning forward, as if pressing closer to the screen. I tried to close the page, but it froze. A pulsing ad replaced everything. "We're right here. 10 meters." My heart thudded. 10 meters is practically my front door. I jumped from my chair and ran to the window, ripping the curtain aside. Again, nothing. Just my silent street. But the atmosphere felt heavier, like something was watching from just beyond the glow of the lamp. When I stumbled back to my laptop, the ad had changed once more. "At your door. Open up." A sharp clatter made me whirl. My front doorknob jiggled, metal scraping metal. Something was trying to get in. My eyes flicked back to the screen where a new image had replaced the older ads. It was a photo of my house, taken from the sidewalk outside. My porch light was on, the potted plant to the left of the door, and in the banner, that brunette stood near the front steps, unnaturally tall, face partially obscured by a swirl of static. She looked even more distorted, with her eyes fixed in a soulless stare. I heard a second jolt at the door. Fear roared in my ears like white noise. I checked my phone. No signal. My Wi-Fi icon flickered. Then came the final blow. The ad changed yet again, displaying my exact address beneath a brand new photo of me, bathed in the monitor's glow, taken from outside my window. I could see the silhouette of someone behind the glass, holding a camera or phone, capturing me in that moment of terror. "Hot, single ladies at my address. Click now." Before I could do anything, slam the laptop shut, call the police, my entire screen went black. The house lights flickered, then died. I stumbled in darkness, heart racing. A faint glow came through the curtains from the street lamp. I tried to catch my breath, tried to push away the thought that something stood right outside. The doorknob rattled once more, then fell silent. I don't know how long I stood there in the darkness, waiting for the next sound or movement. Eventually, the lights surged back on and my laptop whirred softly. Its screen remained off, but the little power indicator blinked tauntingly, like it was daring me to open it again. I couldn't move, couldn't bring myself to check if that horrifying image was still there, couldn't look out the window to see if anyone, or anything, was lurking. Now, whenever I close my eyes, I see that ad. The warped faces, those eyes too pale, too hungry. They came so close. Maybe they're still out there in the night, waiting for me to click, waiting for me to give in. If you see them, don't refresh, don't click, don't even linger on the ad. Because once they know where you are, they're not selling you a date. They're coming to collect. And next time you check your screen, you might find your own face staring back at you from the other side of the glass. And this time, you won't be able to shut the page.